Hello, and welcome to the first Digital Care Homes training session using your iPad. This first session covers some of the basic functions of the iPad and the apps you'll have access to. It'll also give you useful information around the passcode, policy, and who to contact if you have any issues. So let's get started. You can hold the iPad in either a portrait or landscape fashion as you prefer. The large circular button on one end is the home button, and on the opposite end to this is the camera, which looks like a very small dot on the screen. Underneath the home button, along the edge of the iPad, you have the charger slot in the centre and speakers either side, so be careful not to cover the speakers up whilst you're on a call so that you can be heard clearly. To access the charging slot, just gently pull the protective tab away. On the opposite end of the iPad, you have the on-off button, which, if you're holding it portrait, would be along the top edge to the right. Press and hold this to switch the iPad on or off, or you can press once to lock the screen after use. If your iPad is already switched on but locked, pressing once will wake it up and turn the screen on. Around the corner from this, and on the right-hand side, there are two volume buttons. The top one increases the volume and the bottom one decreases the volume. Finally, along the top left edge of the iPad, there is the headphone jack. Gently pull out the protective tab and then you can plug in your headphones if you want to use them. This is the locked screen and the first screen you'll see after turning the iPad on or waking it up. From here, just press the home button to access the passcode screen. The passcode for your iPad can be found in the iPad help guide that you received via email. Gently tap in the passcode and you'll be taken to the home screen. You have 6 attempts to enter the passcode correctly. If you try more than 6 times, your iPad will lock you out and you will need to contact the help desk, and we'll go through these contacts later. You will not be able to change the passcode as it is protected by the administrator, and that's Maidstone and Tunbridge Wells Hospital. Now you are in the home screen, you will see and have access to the apps. There are 2 screens with apps, so to navigate around, just gently swipe your finger across the screen, left or right, to move between the 2. Don't worry if your app icons do not look the same as what's on the screen now. Your apps may appear in a different order, or there might have been an update to one of the icons. Try tapping on an app to open one. At any time, you can return to the home screen by clicking the home button, which is at the bottom of the iPad if you're holding it portrait. Just like when you minimize a program on the computer, the app will still be running in the background. If you double-click the home button, this will bring up a menu of all the apps still open. From here, you can either tap one of the apps to return to it, or gently swipe the app upwards to fully close the app. And we would recommend fully closing all apps after use. You might have noticed by now that the screen rotates as you move it, switching between portrait and landscape views. If you would like to, you can lock the screen to stop it rotating. Swipe down from the top right-hand corner of the screen to access a small menu. To lock or unlock the screen rotation, tap the button that looks like a padlock with an arrow going around it. When the button is red, this means it is locked. The screen can be locked in portrait or landscape view, whichever you prefer. You just need to make sure it's in your preferred orientation before tapping the lock button. There are some other functions in this menu you might find useful and some you might not need. The aeroplane mode would be used when on a flight to make it aeroplane safe. Underneath this is the Wi-Fi button, which you can tap to turn the Wi-Fi on or off. To the right of this is the Bluetooth button, which looks like a bow on its side or 2 small arrows. Tapping this will turn it on or off and allows access to other devices with Bluetooth technology, for example a printer, allowing you to print directly from the iPad. Underneath this is the lock button, which we've been through, and the crescent moon, which is the do not disturb mode and will silence any notifications and calls. The screen mirroring button is used for when connecting the iPad to a computer or TV and you want to display what is on the iPad screen. Further down, the bell button is the silent mode, which turns off all sound and also stops the iPad from ringing. The camera icon next to this will take you to the camera app. To the right, there are 2 long buttons. The sunshine one controls the brightness of the screen and the one next to it is the volume. Gently press the button and move your finger up or down to increase or decrease the brightness or volume. You can access this menu at any time, no matter what screen or app you're in, and to exit it, just tap the screen anywhere away from the menu. Connecting to Wi-Fi. We would recommend that when joining a Wi-Fi network, you always join a password-protected secured network rather than an unsecured network. An unsecured network is one that does not have a password to gain access. To connect to Wi-Fi, go into the Settings app and tap on Wi-Fi. Make sure it is turned on, and this is indicated by the green button on the top right of the menu. From the list beneath this, tap the name of the secured Wi-Fi network you want to join. Enter the password, then tap Join. If you cannot tap Join, the password you've entered might be incorrect, so try it again. After you've joined the network, a blue tick will appear next to it in the list, and the Wi-Fi symbol will also appear in the far top right corner of the screen. Press the Home button to exit settings. As you would have just seen when entering the Wi-Fi password, the iPad has a virtual keyboard that will appear whenever you tap on the text field. For example, when composing an email, writing a note, or entering a web address. We'll go through some of the functions on the keyboard now. You can tap the Shift key to move between upper and lower case, or double tap it to keep it in all capitals. Tap the 1, 2, 3 button to see numbers and symbols, and if you tap this button followed by the one above it, you will get a second set of symbols. The Go button is like the Enter key on a normal keyboard. And there is also a microphone button if you wanted to dictate, and it takes your speech and turns it into text. Be careful though to check what it has written, as sometimes it does not translate the words 100% accurately. You can also access emojis by tapping the smiley face button, and lots of small pictures will appear. Tap the ABC button to return to the keyboard. Something else to be aware of when using the keyboard is predictive text. The iPad might suggest certain words as you type, but you can choose to ignore this by continuing typing. The iPad also has an autocorrect function, so it will correct commonly misspelled words, but this is something to also watch out for, as it may change a word you had intended to use. In addition to autocorrection, the iPad will note spelling errors, underlining them in red, so you can go back to correct it. Finally, pressing and holding a letter will reveal the small menu of different characters to choose from for that letter. You can also copy and paste on the iPad if you want to move text from one location to another. First, you'll need to select the text you want to copy by either double tapping the word or tap and hold, then dragging the selection handles around the text you want to copy. A menu will appear above the text, then tap Copy. To paste, double tap the desired location for the text and then select Paste from the menu. As you'll see on the screen, there are also copy and paste buttons on the virtual keyboard you can use. Let's take a look at the Camera app. The Camera app can be used for taking photos and videos. You can access the camera via the app from the home screen or from the locked screen by swiping your finger left. Once in the app, you can scroll through the different modes available by swiping your finger up or down on the screen to switch to a different mode. These include photo, video, square, pano, slow-mo, and time-lapse. Any photos or videos taken will be saved in the Photos app. If you have taken a photo to send to a health professional, make sure to send this straight away and delete the photo afterwards. We'll now go through the apps that are available on the iPad, and you might be familiar with some of these already. The Outlook app is used for accessing your NHS email accounts, calendar, and contacts. MS Teams is used for video calling and conferencing. The NHS app can be used for advice and guidance on NHS services and healthcare. Chrome and Safari are both internet browsers. You may find that some things will work better on Chrome but not Safari, and vice versa, so there are two available to choose from. The Help to Care app provides support for people who care for others in Kent Medway and has been specifically designed for Kent Medway. Care Workforce is a dedicated app for the adult social care workforce in England to support staff through the coronavirus pandemic and providing the latest information and news. The News Calculator is the National Early Warning Score and Sepsis Screening tool, designed to aid in the calculation of news scores for individual patients and to suggest the most appropriate clinical response. Online training is available for this and needs to be completed prior to using the app. Yellow Card enables you to report suspected side effects for medications and vaccines. The Clinical Frailty Scale app allows you to undertake clinical frailty scoring with patients in real time and works by responding to a series of yes or no questions. Pando is a secure communication and collaboration tool offering a variety of features that aim to help you share information immediately, save time, and make well-informed decisions. It's important to make sure your iPad has been charged and has enough battery life before using it. In the far top right-hand corner of the screen is a small battery icon with a percentage number next to it. This indicates how much battery power your iPad has left. If the battery is starting to get low, you'll need to plug in the lightning cable that came with your iPad into the charging point located at the bottom of the device below the home button. You will know it's charging by hearing the beep and seeing the lightning bolt appear in the top right corner of the screen. The iPad does not need to be recharged after every use, but we recommend fully recharging it when it reaches 20%. You will need to ensure that your care home has a policy covering the use of the iPad. This should include who has use of the iPad and what for, such as MDT meetings, video consultations, photographs, emails, and internet use. Please note, internet access on the iPad has not been restricted, so it's good to include internet use in the policy. You should also consider time management, perhaps implementing a diary system for booking the iPad, but giving priority to consultations where needed. And data management, so people are aware how they should be using it and what they can put on the iPad. You don't need to create a new policy, but can adapt your current policy and procedures to reflect the use of the iPad. So we've now been through all the basics of using the iPad. So before moving on to session 2, take a look around some of the apps, including the NHS and Help to Care apps. Try out the Clinical Frailty Scale and News Calculator, and sign up to the Care Workforce app and Pando. If there are any other particular apps you feel would be beneficial to have on the iPad, please do let us know so we can consider adding these. If you need any technical support for your iPad, you can contact the help desk. The iPad is provided and supported by Maidstone and Tunbridge Wells NHS Trust. So if, for example, you get locked out of the iPad or one of the apps isn't working, please contact the service desk on the number provided or through the online portal. Queries or issues regarding NHS Mail should be directed to the NHS Mail help desk on the contact details provided on screen. For any training related inquiries, please do get in touch with the Design and Learning Centre. The next session will focus on NHS Mail, so if you've not signed up yet, please contact us and we will help you in getting this sorted. Thank you for watching, and we hope this session has been helpful in learning the basics of using your iPad.